Akale swiped free by Malloy. He is going to extinguish a lot of good-looking attacks over the course of this year, and then he's probably going to finish with 10, 12 assists, and no one be shocked by that either. Away from Arturo Rodriguez, still New Mexico trying to dig this out. Okay. MD Myers, make your mark. I get it. Christopher Shakes didn't have the shakes at all with that, did he? Oh, that's given away. That's really awkward, Rodriguez. And a vital slide to keep the turn from ever occurring. Here's Rivas. There's going to be a little feeling out to this. You talk with Ben Pierman and he goes, we are two really similar teams. And he started to say they're well coached, and then he decided that might be an indication of his own feeling about himself. It started to go into different ways. Then you called him handsome, and what else?
He said there's a lot of similarities. It's a great team, good roster. I'm like, what? Both coaches are super handsome? What is it, coach? What else you got? Ben Pierman is always a delight to talk to.
But the way these teams press and build and go after the game do mirror each other, and even structurally, formationally, they can be very similar.
Absolutely, and you're going to watch two dynamic center midfielders take shape. If you're a young central midfielder that wants to watch and see proper technique of how to be deceptive when you pass it, watch number 10 for New Mexico, Marco Micheletto, and watch number 6, Aaron Malloy for Charleston Battery. Those two players are incredibly difficult to read because their passing ability is so good, but they disguise it so well. They want to open their hips or close them at the last minute. I love watching those two play soccer.
The switch is on there for Charleston. And here's Nato Santos. His home debut, having played for Pittsburgh. They'll bring it back. Well, you could have brought it to either points for the foul. It is Dos Santos ultimately drew the whistle.
It's a good job of breaking pressure from the battery. Dos Santos driving forward, and then Micheletto just a little bit late on the challenge. The decision has just been made by Malloy. At first, they were looking to go short, and then he understands this is actually an advantageous position where the line is set for New Mexico. Try to get it up and over those guys. Chris Shakes is coming out and standing on top of his 6 right now, so that's the space you're trying to drop it in, just right around the penalty spot. Get everybody crashing forward. Malloy's got the ability to serve this in and put it wherever he wants.
Aaron Malloy. Now that's out of play. Of note, the injury report is presented by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. And the good news for Charleston, they have reported no injuries at this stage. A little bit surprised, I would imagine. Jackson Conway draws starts early. Chris Allen draws starts. The thing you can say about Charleston more so this year than last, you start layering in more and more depth as Ben Pierman and Lee Cohen construct this thing. And all of a sudden, even guys that never left the field like Chris Allen, there's a little competition for that role.
And this is not necessarily a deep in numbers roster for the Battery, but it is deep in quality. And so they've opted to go for quality over quantity, try to reload and try to get over the hump to win its final.
Approaching the final third, ball whipped across. It's still on here through Harry Swartz. Kale could get no further. Spotted up by Myers. Option lining long is Gutierrez. Rodriguez couldn't quite combine. It's kind of funny, they were making eerily similar runs with one another, and that's kind of, okay, whoever gets the ball, what's the next part of that dance?
All right, they almost fit it through that tight little window inside the box. Good bit of defending.
Smith plays over to Segbers, now wearing the number 2 for the Battery. Acquired midway through last year from Miami. Bailey. There's Maples, next pro best 11 a couple of years ago. Center back from Texas who featured with Houston.
Almost played spoiler in Rhode Island's home opener last week. He scored on a tap-in after a set piece found its way back across, and wasn't for some late heroics from Rhode Island. He'll go down as an own goal for Chris Gloucester, who will find himself on the bench this week. Was a exciting first match for Rhode Island after being announced in 2019. They finally made their debut, and what a wonderful crowd they had. 5,000 strong in their home opener.
There's a foul. You could argue that could come with a yellow for Seymour. He's saying, I've only done it once.
Seymour will go in the book for that challenge, and I guess because it stopped a promising attack, wasn't really playing the ball, and so that is important to note when one of your center backs, who is more likely than not one of the players that will go and make that first initial confrontation, goes into the book in the first 9 minutes. That changes the way Seymour has to defend. It also changes the way that Talon Maples defends as center back. Now does Maples have to be the one that goes and Seymour drops a little bit? That'll be something to keep an eye on.
He's got a little more familiarity. 10 minutes in, or approaching such. Galloping ahead, Diego Gutierrez. They really like the idea of hitting this switch. Segbers shakes off his line. He lets this fly by. Shakes getting the call over Alex Tambakis, who started his run in the United States with Charleston many years ago. There's the proper amount of piracy that exists in this league. I'm not talking about good use of a VPN. Tampa Bay, right time of year, Pirates. Come to Patriots Point, Pirate flag. Any more and it would just start to get weird. Rodriguez looking to combine with Segbers. He's got it again. Arturo Rodriguez lays it off. Seeking Segbers. Good recovery by Astorga. When you got your cup of coffee with Charleston way back in the day, were you still able to go into the pub? That was the old venue, I assume.
Blackbaud Stadium, yeah, it was. Listen, hey, they say once a part of the Battery, always a part of the Battery. So for an alumnus like myself with one career appearance for the Charleston Battery, I'd like to say, welcome to the family to all the new players making their debuts over the last 2 games.
Dos Santos. falls away. You and I were together in Minnesota for New Mexico's real coming out party, though. I mean, we're kind of simultaneously connected. Gutierrez hangs that in. That soars out of play, but Charleston starting to show their wherewithal. That was Markanek.
And my time as Charleston Battery player, I think I would have been able to finish this one, but nonetheless, I digress. Markanek at the back post with a good run, and all jokes aside, that was a really, really good ball from Diego Gutierrez, and just a little warning sign of what they're capable in around the final third if you don't close down.
Well, if you want to join the aforementioned Jamie Watson-led Battery family, Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories. Your friends and, yeah, your family. Group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more. Plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. Do you remember who you played against when you were wearing the kit? One game.
Vancouver Whitecaps. It was a road game. It was a loan, short-term loan to the Battery.
Was that from Dallas?
What's that?
From Dallas?
That was from the mighty Wilmington Hammerheads.
Ah.
Rest in peace to the Wilmington Hammerheads.
Won't be welcoming anyone into that family.
Just a little alone, but oh, great memories. It was a short but sweet, I think, is the term that would be fitting.
Sure.
6 of the best minutes that anyone's ever had for the Charleston Battery is what people are saying.
Yes.
Not sure which people, maybe even Mama and Papa Watson, but I'll digress again.
Indeed. Toward the stands, a throw here for Charleston. Moving forward with good pace here. The overlap is on. Ball hung across. Shakes would have gotten there. Instead, this prodded out of play by Maples, and a corner for the Battery.
Good decision from Maples. Unaware of what was around him. Undoubtedly heard the shout from Shakes, but still had to make the play on it. Now you get a chance to get Malloy with his set piece. We saw that one a little bit earlier, standing in front of that shiny new 2023 USL Eastern Conference Championship banner.
Malloy. Ball ricochets down. Shakes. It is right at him. And that nearly from MD Myers, quite the start to his Battery tenure.
Now when you get your first opportunity to start after replacing Jackson Conway, a bouncing ball inside the 6-yard box is something that MD Myers really should be doing better with, instead of putting it right at Shakes. Couldn't believe how much time he had after that sort of just careened right into his path. Myers will expect better from himself in that position.
Bangs off of Maples. And from Dos Santos. Speared to the halfway line and knocked back by Malloy. Cut off, but Dos Santos, the beneficiary, steps in and go through Grinwis. They didn't really expect to lose Trey Muse. Therein lies the magic of Grinwis getting a real extended chance at starting minutes for the first time in a while. The 31-year-old from Missouri, after Muse ultimately had his contract triggered by Portland.
Grinwis had a good run with Orlando. Time spent, but never a good run as far as getting games played. So that's part of the key to any good goalkeeper, is finding a place in where you can get that run of form, where you find the confidence to know that you're in game shape. As foul is drawn, it's imperative for a goalkeeper to understand all the pictures that happen in training are very different than the ones that happen in games. So when you get a run of games, you start to understand the speed of play, which is vastly different from training to match day. And then you start to understand how to handle certain game dynamics and certain certain principles of play that your team wants to achieve, whether you want to push the tempo and counterattack or you want to slow it down and be methodical in your build-up.
Header smashed out, shot, goal! Nick Markanen picking up where he left off at Patriots Point. Charleston leads! And that was a beauty for the Battery.
Just what these fans wanted to see in the home opener. Inexcusable how wide open MD Myers is on the throw-in. In the final third, Dos Santos just lofts it to a wide open Myers, and then Markanen comes across from the outside right position in the front three, gets the technique spot on, he's over it, he drives down on top of it, skips right off of the turf, beyond shakes. A dream start for the Battery. Has to be said, inexcusable defending from New Mexico United.
A Battery goal with a sparkling finish, brought to you by Diamonds Direct. It's in the 18th minute of play. The Nick Markanen gets the first goal of the year at Patriots Point. And New Mexico will play from behind on the road. A group that conceded extremely late. As Jamie mentioned, deemed a Gloucester own goal in stoppage time at Rhode Island. But had gone over 180 minutes without conceding yet. This should come with a card. And yes, Ikaza into the book.
Ikaza at full extension, catches Bailey, undoubtedly a booking.
A yellow card has been issued to Battery player number 8, Emilio Ikaza. That yellow card issued in the 19th minute.
This is just full speed as Bailey drops his shoulder and Ikaza lifts the leg to catch him.
He's really lucky he didn't make more substantial contact, or that might have been a different discussion.
And he caught him with the top of the foot instead of the bottom of the foot, because he sort of lifted it up to, you know, do that kind of move when your friend's walking and you lift your foot up to catch theirs so they trip and fall. He's just doing it full speed in the middle of the game. You got to be smart about that one, Ikaza, because you're all the way at your end of the field, right? You're 20 yards from your own end line. Bailey's not going anywhere. So you're right. If they'd have been any higher, maybe with the bottom of the boot, that could have been a different discussion.
20th minute now, Reyes running amok. Markanen's second of the year already. Battery has scored now in 10 straight home games. That's going to come with a card.
That's Zico Bailey on Ikaza. So fair play to our referee, Nabil bin Salah. If you give one at the other end and Bailey wanted his retribution, okay. So they've sorted him out themselves between the two players. Ikaza was smart. He planted his right foot so he could turn with his left and absorb the contact. Bailey, less than 120 seconds ago, was on the receiving end of a challenge. So looks to me like it's sorted. Both players got one on each other, and both players picked up a yellow for it.
Yep, and both will be walking a tightrope for 70 minutes if they manage to remain that long. There they are again. Ikaza being shoved into the sideline. Still, it's Charleston running into the area. Myers denied by Shakes. Rodriguez squares, searches, has Gutierrez behind. He just got flipped like an omelet. Still, it's there for Gutierrez. And finally, the swarming yellow shirts arrive, and it's a foul the other way. Rodriguez a bit aggrieved.
This is a thumping strike from Myers. Good save from Shakes to be able to push it wide, and Rodriguez a little bit upset there wasn't a whistle for an off-the-ball shove. Don't think there was enough in it. It was right on the edge of the penalty box as well, so.
Mexico control here on the road. The Maples Swartz. It's a bit off the mark for Kale. 27-year-old from Minneapolis. Dozen goals at South Georgia Tormenta, so he's a little bit closer to home, so to speak, coming back to the East Coast.
Good work from Myers.
Help shape that whole press. Myers now from Rodriguez. Myers, Shake's got a piece.
What a save from Shakes.
And Charleston searches for more. Malloy angles out of play.
That all started from MD Myers having the willingness to just run around. And from this, he gets into a position. Rodriguez just waiting for the moment he can bide his time to slip it through. And then just a little quick snapshot with the outside of the right end. Ooh, that was a fantastic look at it. Shake stayed big.
Falls right to Dos Santos. Malloy. Both playing for playoff opponents that were hanging right around Charleston all season long. Pittsburgh for Dos Santos. Malloy from Memphis, another foul. And this is Malloy's office, this area, for a free kick.
He has this ability. His stance is so unorthodox. So you're going to see Malloy just battling and challenging. The way that Malloy can approach this is from such an angle. He can get so much whip around this. That's why he's sitting negatively from it and then serves it in this position.
Went for the backside. I'll get out of play. And you could hear Ben Pierman pleading to the fourth official. They keep fouling the same guy. When you talk about trying to take someone out of a game or take them off the ball, with Malloy, it means roughing them up a little bit.
Our fourth official, JJ Belinsky, poor guy's getting an earful right now about Malloy being constantly fouled. There is a way the referee could point to Malloy if he thinks he's being persistently infringed. That would book some players if he was to receive too many fouls on one particular player. That may be something to keep an eye on.
And that's going to be part of the game here, you'd imagine, for one of the league's most dynamic playmaking midfield players. Attempt to thread this in behind. That's sent out of play.
This is what you were talking about just a moment ago, where the foul happens on Aaron Malloy. Field mics picked up the conversation happening between Ben Pierman and the fourth official, and it's a point of emphasis for referees of certain players getting fouled too many times to address that. It's a backhanded compliment, as you alluded to. When you're a really good player, sometimes you end up finding out how hard the opponents can kick.
In this league, pretty hard.
Look at this pressure. This is swarming, but this is also the new New Mexico United. Confidence to play out, the ability to play out more often than not. This time they get their pocket picked.
And at the top of the penalty area through Myers again, Shakes, came to Segbers, and then whiffing, falls up top. Spun back by Rodriguez. Malloy out wide, picked up by Gutierrez. Tried to swipe inside. And the run out totally negated by Malloy once more. By the way, the most fouled player in the league last year, 39 more than any player, was Philip Goodrum.
Oh,
122 times. This guy spent more time on the grass than upstanding. That's not a knock on him, quite the contrary. It's the backhanded compliment. lasered over the top and picked up by Grinwis. Third most fouled, by the way, Derek Dodson, who had an extraordinary season for Charleston. Harry Swartz not far behind. Rodriguez, he can score the special ones. He leans this outside. Overlap from Segbers. Corner. Dotson, by the way, going to Minnesota United over the offseason. That was much ballyhooed last year. The expectation that he'd find an MLS roster.
Georgetown Hoya has yet to really find his footing at the top level, but he's really found himself being able to be a player that, when he gets a run, can be dangerous at the professional level. He just needs to find that consistency to do it at a club.
Corner, Charleston. Dos Santos bombs it back the other way. Hurst.
That's a person's name we haven't said enough today, Greg Hurst. We talked about him in our pregame as a player to watch, and well, it's been hard to watch him do anything because New Mexico have been pinned in by Charleston.
Swartz was fouled. So to the earlier point about all those fouls, but he is really barking here. Grabbing at his right leg and trying to show the evidence.
And Ikaza's on a yellow, and he caught Swartz late when he was vulnerable and exposed as he was playing up the line. This is where referee Nabil Ben Salah is having a conversation. And don't put me in a situation where I've got to send you off for something that's less than intelligent, like leaving your foot in late when somebody's playing up the ball or playing up the line. Oh, watch where he plants on his foot. He catches him mid-thigh. If a second yellow comes out right there, you see that replay, there's not a question about it. And you know what Schwartz just did? He pointed at his leg, showing where there are multiple dots. Those dots are the cleats on the bottom of the shoe,
right,
showing where he's landed. So unless Schwartz magically just put 6 dots of dirt on his leg, or Ikaza stepped on his leg, I'll let you decide which one of those two happened.
I saw the tape.
Okay, so then you know that Ikaza can count himself fortunate that he hasn't seen a second yellow.
And the reality is, with that transition moment, referee is 30 yards away. Fortunate that he doesn't have a better viewpoint of that, nor that the fourth official spoke up. Oh, nice ball threaded inside. This will deflect right to Dos Santos. Lofted out of harm's way for the moment.
I just wonder when our referee, Bill Ben Salah, goes home and watches this game on ESPN Plus tomorrow. There's a challenge if he'll think that that would have been a yellow if he'd have changed his decision.
Yeah, and now Shakes gets taken out by Myers. Myers has gone to check on him. He's saying it's certainly no malice.
When Seymour came over and pointed to the other side of the field where he got his booking, and he's saying, if I got booked for something that was far less than this, I think this is more clumsy than anything, and it comes through and catches Shakes late. This game has had a weird flow in the first 30 minutes to it.
Very. So Shakes is up. That's good news. I don't think I have to sell these tickets too hard. The Battery are back at Patriots Point. Eastern Conference Final rematch, April the 9th against the Louisville City FC. Tickets available now via SeatGeek, the Battery's exclusive ticketing provider. Get your tickets now. Save up to $10 per seat when you buy in advance. Head to tickets.charlestonbattery.com today. And that game notably will be the first game on CBS Sports Network under the USL's new partnership with CBS Sports. That'll be a Tuesday night in Charleston. Sounds like a good time to me. That's another tough foul, and at some point the referee is going to need to try and get some order in this game. Jacobo Reyes this time.
They're just standing there with their arms crossed.
talked to Ben Perriman. He said these two teams mirror each other in a lot of similarities. Well, through the first 30 minutes, the biggest similarity is these two teams seem like they don't like each other and want to kick the opponent a lot.
You know, New Mexico hosted Charleston last year, and it was a couple games into Eric Quill's tenure. There are these great explosive attacking ideas, but also New Mexico had gotten to the point where they lacked a little bite.
Yeah.
It just got stale for whatever reason. It was something that Zach Prince spoke about trying to regain, something Eric Quill required, or you weren't going to be here this year.
Well, I know Eric Quill is a player from back in his time with the Dallas Burn, and what you see from this New Mexico United side mirrors that. Wants to play soccer in the right way. They want to keep it. They want to be able to play under pressure and have the ball be their friend and be able to play attractive soccer. But also, you will not back out of a challenge. You will go in tough when you need to, just like that. And that's a late one from Michele.
That's another yellow. And if this game ends with 22 on the field at this stage, I'd be surprised. There has not been one half tackle tonight. This time Dos Santos got drilled.
Very similar to Schwartz a minute ago, playing the ball up the line and leaving one in late. Tell you what, though, if I was on New Mexico, I would just calmly walk over to the referee and say, a lot of similarities to that one from Mikaza a moment ago, huh? That you didn't give a yellow to, right? Just maybe plant a little seed of doubt. Did the referee, was he lenient because Mikaza was on a yellow? Maybe. Was there similarities to that one? Definitely.
Schwartz. Kicked away by Ikaza. Look at the English on that. It stayed in. MD Myers. He's got runners. Plays it centrally. Rodriguez.
Rodriguez is capable of it. Just doesn't get the execution right. MD Myers, his work rate again, the catalyst for that. And here goes another turnover for Charleston.
Myers outside. Gutierrez snaps it across. Got away from Rodriguez. Not crisp enough from New Mexico. There's Segbers. Pumps the brakes. Lost his footing. Back in. And now a foul. This has gone on Segbers. Rodriguez having really vocal conversation with the official too. No prisoners tonight. We saw a game today with 45 shots. We're working toward 45 fouls.
Both teams sitting on 8 so far.
You know, there's something to be said about Hartford winning a game 1-0 in a game with 45 shots in it against Birmingham.
Gosh, that would have not been expected. I would have thought the over-under on shots in that match combined would have been in the low teens.
The new Brendan Burke side has arrived.
We're all better for it.
Yeah. Well, the players are in a bit of a cautionary tale right now, but the fans seem to be enjoying it tonight on opening night here at Patriots Point. Charleston went on the road. The termed most boring game ever played by Ben Perriman at North Carolina. 0-0 in that return to rivalry, and then a 1-1 draw at Oakland. Saw Marcanic score. He's now scored in back-to-back games. The Battery now lead in back-to-back games. Question is whether they can take all 3 points for the first time this year. Got the ball first. Dos Santos back to his feet. Well, the fun part about having New Mexico come here previously, Zach Prince played here. Troy Lassane experience here. So that element of the derby sort of died off with it. Handful of players with Charleston ties making the trip out west. Ultimately, time changes things. Whoa, Myers. That is given away by Shakes. Oh, wow. Slipped right on the field. It looked like that could have been a dagger from Rodriguez. You talked about this game not having a rhythm. I'm lost. This has become a Jackson Pollock painting. Teed up at the top of the area. Rodriguez searching for a window. Dos Santos. Gutierrez. Gutierrez pumps the brakes. Snaps it outside beyond Rodriguez.
This game has as much rhythm as me on the dance floor right now. Next to nothing. But I will tell you, genuinely don't know what's going to happen next. Just like when
when you're on the dance floor.
There you go. Edge of the seat stuff here. I don't know if it's going to be a red card, a skill check to send a defender sliding to the ground, a goal, or what.
Dos Santos shrugs off Hurst. We haven't heard a lot about Hurst. We've not heard a lot about Marco Micheletto either.
That is not good for New Mexico United, because those are two players that you absolutely need to be involved if you want to go on the road and get a result.
It's a New Mexico team that bossed a game against Pittsburgh. To be fair, Pittsburgh has lost 3 in a row in the start of the regular season now. Ball whipped across, header goes soaring over, will be a corner. It's Pittsburgh's first in-season 3-game losing streak since the summer of 2022.
Oof. Very few would have expected that.
Yep, lost to Louisville today.
Out of your heads, out of your seats, face the north. It's time for a corner kick.
Malloy seeking Dos Santos, steered it down. Ball whipped left by Palma.
Didn't miss by much. It was a tight angle, and Palma just smashes this. Dos Santos does ever so well to just save this from carrying out over the inline, and Palma just puts his foot through it. Kaza doing everything he could to get out of the way, to not try to block it, and that was a good effort.
It's worth noting this is the pro debut for Christopher Shakes. He was on the bench back in the day with Philadelphia Union 2 in the championship. Went on to Penn State, had a really extensive and impressive career there. 5'10" Florida native. Fact check from David Carl, the outstanding, well, everything for New Mexico United in the front office. We'll touch on in just a moment in relation to that. We may mirror a little bit of past history here. Dos Santos crossing, that cleared, gets over Micheletto and out. The last time New Mexico United played at Charleston, they played their backup goalkeeper. That was Ford Parker. He earned his only championship win in that match, so his first and only. I have a feeling Shakes will have more than one by the time we're done, but he wouldn't mind getting his first tonight.
Wow, that is impressive bit of research and some familiarity to circumstances in history.
Right now his side trails. Rodriguez took that to the line. You know, in the past we've seen these big hulking center backs at times for Charleston that made for really easy targets. Now you've got the guy to ping a ball right to someone's forehead. Bit of a smaller group now, just based on the way they play, and there is a mountain of people on the goal line. Swung over, Shakes let that go, and Malloy just misfired.
Generally, when you do that, you're just trying to ask Malloy to put that right onto the goalkeeper, 5'10" goalkeeper, and tell him to go jump with about 5 or 6 people around you. I think what this does show is how much hard work is being done and how fortunate New Mexico United are to have 2 good goalkeepers. Alex Tambakis leading the league in saves coming into tonight, and Chris Shakes spells him, gets his first opportunity. Credit to the coaching staff, goalkeeping coach Nate Walzer as well, being able to develop not 1 but 2 starting caliber goalkeepers.
Well, and you've got one of the league's all-time record kind of goalkeepers in Alex Tambakis in New Mexico, so it's surely about finding your moments. Feels in all directions. The frustration is real on the Charleston bench. It does belong to New Mexico, and it will continue to belong to New Mexico.
Players are upset because they felt it was the Charleston throw-in.
Now Storga. Rare incursion into the final third. The way this game has progressed for New Mexico. Clearance, that's a foul. It'll go against Micheletto.
Mexico happy to acquire his services after a good run with Columbus Crew 2 and MLS Next Pro. Crew 2 winning the inaugural championship in 22, making it to the final in 23. Micheletto a big piece to the puzzle for them.
I'm telling you, a ton of talent in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Micheletto's Italian, but you know, Columbus.
I think.
And he's a zip.
And those 2 things, Ohio and Italian, just come to mind together, you know?
I would hope so.
The Skyline chili is spaghetti. It's chili, right? So, I mean, that's where my mind goes.
Straight from Roma.
Close your eyes. Am I in Rome? No. It's Dayton.
Immediate knock over the top. That's a handball. You're making it so I can't go home, Jamie.
Come on, give your hometown a shout out. Where is it?
They're just up in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty easy, but you know, it's the kind of stuff that gets you in real trouble in Cincinnati. Commenting on
Skyline chili.
Skyline chili.
Congrats on making it out of Cleveland.
Wow.
Cleveland catching strays.
It's going to be a heck of a halftime show if we both make it that far. Arcanic the goal in the 18th. In first half that has been all over the place. Stoppage time brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. 3 added minutes. Kaza, Seymour, Bailey, Akale, all on yellow cards. And Malloy stands over the ball from quite the distance.
Look for this with the line of New Mexico at the top of the 18. Look for this to be curled in between the penalty spot and the top of the 6-yard box, low and hard. Try to get all the runners offensively and defensively going back towards the goal.
Malloy, there it is. Drops in front, ball ricochets around. And no one from Charleston can lay a foot on it. But watch out, the counter is on.
Oh, he's got to play it. Haley's got to play that through. He had Bailey.
Advantage played, now he sends it. He was looking for either Rivas or Hurst.
Oh my goodness, he looked Bailey off. Bailey was pointing to it, Akele was going diagonally. The straight ball would have been through. He just kept going, that's the wrong decision. Take that chance on the counter in stoppage time. That's the moment to be risky with a pass.
and you're that far upfield and everyone's going in that direction,
so here's the moment. Watch Bailey. He's going to point. Keep your eye on him. The line's going, point. Play it. Ah, that's the one. Excellent freeze from our crew to show you. He was held on by Rodriguez at the bottom of the screen. The play was there. That is a missed opportunity on the counter.
Naples up, touched away by Marcanic. Ultimately tipped off of New Mexico. Another minute here. Shakes. Quill still has his touch.
I never lost it.
Class doesn't graduate.
I'm going to steal that when there's a new audience around. Oh, he did that with his right foot, too. You should see his left foot. Incredible.
Oh, I thought that was going the other way. Should see his left foot. It's in the parking lot. Sorry, coach. Halftime arrives. You want to try and put a bow on that 48 minutes?
Frantic, disjointed. And that was something that Eric Quill and Ben Perriman probably both didn't expect. But you will applaud the effort that neither team backed down from the other. Both teams matched the energy and the aggressiveness of the other. Few far in between moments of real quality and possession, but you gotta give what the game gives you and take what the game gives you, and that's exactly what's happening right now for these two teams. But I think it will be more attractive in the second half than what we saw in the first half.
Marcanic leading from the front, which has become par for the course. He's got the opener in this game in the 18th minute of play. Come dressed for the occasion. Who knows, you might even find a ball in the bush. You'll certainly find a ball in the net when you come to the Battery's Patriots point. Marcanic the go-ahead. Look around the league coming up when we return.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete. You're obsessed. You're in love. You're in pain. Spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity. Because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat. Because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
Welcome back to Charleston. They say defend the point. Here for the Battery, they've found a way to truly uniquely capture the spirit of this community for 3 decades' time. They did it again, and it starts in the very fabric of the club, the fabric they wear. Charleston ahead 1-0 at the half. Take a look.
Super excited to get going. Parking lot at the time. So we were so in the moment. Chris, thanks for joining us. First purchase. Woo! What's your first purchase other than the Battery? It's a good man right there. It's a good man. All right. Good play right there. Eagles, please give it up for the Charleston Battery's 2024 roster. Let's hear it.
I didn't tell anybody that he would get this coffee, but here I am telling you guys today.
All of our supporters to be able to walk off that field and be proud of the black and yellow, proud of our work ethic, proud of our performance.
Obviously, I've been here for a while, so I've seen a lot of things. I've seen how much this community has grown behind the team. I see how much effort they put into supporting us, and I feel like we reward them on the field. And you can see that last year. Last year we had a massive turnout in, I'd probably say, every game, every home game this year. And we definitely felt that from the jump, from the beginning of the season to the end.
And this year, we know that the national impact is going to continue to happen. And so it's exciting to see on TV, but I know we're going to bring home that league trophy. And we're really excited for the ideal 2024 season.
All right, let's see them. The 2024 Charleston Battery primary and secondary kits. There we are. Excellent.
We are the Charleston Battery. The black and yellow. The oldest running club. In a city of southern charm and grace. From the harbors to the boroughs, we wear our badge with pride. This is our team, our home, where royalty walks on the corner of King and Queen. A fortress of rich culture and heritage. Together, we fortify and conquer.
Go get it, Doug.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
You've given us a foundation to be proud of. We build on this now. This is it now, gents. This is us from now on.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Yeah, we running the game. We're coming in strong, and you will not forget it. We're here to take you on, and we can fight and we defend it. We never looking back, we focused on the road. We didn't come to play, and now we never let it go. Yeah, we wanna take it higher.
Follow up in! Louisville level in the 70th. He puts it in. Indy 11 leads on the road.
Yeah, we wanna take it higher.
Looks great.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Charleston is located in the low country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else. This place is magical.
Welcome back to Charleston, South Carolina. New Mexico cross country from Albuquerque, trailing the Battery 1-0 as the Battery open the doors to the 2024 season here in South Carolina with Jamie, Mike, Now we get you caught up on everything going on around the USL Championship and beyond. Well, the and beyond part is the interesting part for Brooklyn. So we knew they'd come in Super League. They're talking about League One. They begin in the championship in the borough of Brooklyn. Bernardo Forbes ties the record for the Riverhounds. Most appearances in club history. Now second all-time in the league. And Rafael Baca, who's been around the block once or twice, player of the week.
So much happening in and around the league each and every week, and it's hard to narrow it down to just a few certain things each time we take a look. But and to see the Brooklyn Football Club ambition going all the way up to USL Championship, and then the mainstay of Bernardo Forbes and what he's been able to achieve, the health that he's had, the longevity he's had, and Rafael Baca coming back to be reunited with Frank Yalef at Monterey Bay, leading to good things and a wonderful performance at home against Phoenix last week.
Well, there's plenty of games on the field ongoing. Let's take a look at our scores around the league. It's presented by Charleston International Airport. With over 5 million passengers annually, your low country adventure begins at CHS. Louisville City knock out Pittsburgh 3-1. Pittsburgh was able to equalize in that, but alas, Indy 11 and Sacramento now 1-1. Callum Chapman-Page own goal, but the return fire from Williams. How about Birmingham and Hartford? Quite the display there. North Carolina, Tampa Bay. Good to see that group back again.
Yeah, it's a full slate of games today, and there's some really, really good ones. And this one, all to play for in the second half. Still interesting to see the Lights versus Locomotive as well. That'll be two teams that are desperate for points as well. So they will both be looking to try to push the issue and take away all 3 points this evening.
El Paso, 3 games at home in 8 days, and they took just 1 point. All right, we got plenty more coming up here from Charleston. Bridge looks beautiful tonight, and for Charleston fans, the scoreline looks plenty beautiful too. 1-0 over New Mexico at the break.
When we took this job, we knew that the future was the EX90.
A lot of people are excited about it.
We're really happy to see the EX90 on the line.
I'm Tamara Thompson and Rachel Gillum.
My name is Eric Brown.
And the Volvo EX90 was made by us.
This is your vacation, your beach, your fields of green, skies of blue, mountains of majesty. You're an athlete, you're obsessed, you're in love, you're in pain, spirit drained, in agony, fighting gravity, because you made a commitment to yourself and others to work on your game, build your frame in blazing heat, exhausted and beat, because when you refuse to yield, your spirit is revealed. You are an athlete. MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
When we took this job, we knew that the future was the EX90.
A lot of people are excited about it.
We're really happy to see the EX90 on the line.
I'm Tamara Thompson and Rachel Gillum.
My name is Eric Brown.
And the Volvo EX90 was made by us.
Let's take a look at our first half highlights between the Battery and New Mexico United. Pick up action in the 12th minute. It was an onslaught of service from all angles from this Charleston side, and plenty of physical contact along the way as well.
This is a lovely way to pass from Gutierrez, trying to find it at the back post, and a little glimpse of things to come. The service was always going to be something that you expected to be provided with the midfield of Gutierrez and Rodriguez. Malloy providing this service, and this one falls to Myers, who really should have done better with it, but his work rate and his ability to just be smart and put this into the path of Koenig in the 17th minute is the reason why Charleston were able to take the lead. Criminal defending from a throw-in and expert finishing from Koenig is all that separates us as we get ready to start the second half.
And New Mexico giving the ball away in a bad spot as the half continued, and MD Myers ultimately sees a wonderful stop from Shakes and keeps it merely 1-0. These halftime stats are brought to you by Heineken. 8 shots to 1, not a single shot on target for New Mexico United. And they'll try and find a little more luck here in the second half of play.
And the one stat that we don't see on there that really truly tells the story of the first half, the foul count: 14 fouls for New Mexico, 12 for Charleston, several yellow cards along the way, 4 in total. It was a very physical match, not much separating them on these stats, but Charleston definitely the more adventurous side going forward. Just needs to be a bit more efficient with those shots and opportunities that they're getting.
So we approach the second half, and I did want to make a quick mention. Both Jamie and I have deep connections to the special needs community and to those of all abilities. And there's a watch party going on in New Mexico that the Somos Unidos Foundation puts on every year for kids of varying abilities. It's the All Abilities Clinic that took place today in New Mexico. So hello to those watching from cross country. As we approach this second half of play, very much glad that you're taking part in our beautiful game here tonight.
Well said. Great endeavor, really good cause, and there's never enough of that in this world. Well done, New Mexico United and their supporters.
Yep, Somos Unidos Foundation is top class in every way. On we go to the second half of play. Charleston 1 and New Mexico nothing. There will be some changes, so Nicky Hernandez and Dayon Harris appear poised to make entrance. It'll be Harris right now. And you and I made some light of the fact that Akale probably had the best opportunity of the half and had the ball ultimately stuck to his foot. Zico Bailey calling for it. That really proves to be his last go at it. Picked up by Charleston, edge of the attacking third, runner coming, that's Segbers. Segbers looking for an angle, ultimately made the best of it with Astorga sliding down. He knocks it right off of him. It'll be a corner.
Segbers a little late to arrive on the overlapping run, but he finally gets there. And as you alluded to, just smart as he gets to the inline. It's rolling over. He's got to get something out of it, and the best he can do is just knock it off the defender that's on the ground. Win a corner.
An unwitting accomplice to this corner, Astorga. And so Malloy stands over the ball and launches into the penalty area. Decent idea. Ends up caroming out, and that's a foul from Dayon Harris. Buddy, you might be new to this game, but you just committed the 27th foul of the proceedings. Remember when I jokingly said 45 doesn't feel all that far off? We were ahead of pace.
If I had to put you on the spot, over under 45.5. Do we get the over or the under?
I think you're a degenerate. Over.
Over easy.
Lofted into the area, looping header, that's going to go wide toward the celebration of trophies past, as opposed to the other end of the field with trophies present. See the 2023 USL Eastern Conference champion banners strewn about here for a club with such immense history. Attempt to drop this in behind. Keeper was way off his line. Harris leading. Hurst is in. Hurst, kick save. Driven away by Grinwis. And that is the first shot on target for New Mexico tonight. And they've taken it back. Rivas, corner. What a rapid turn of events for New Mexico.
What a sequence for Grenwis, who had come way far out of his goal, and Harris didn't see it till late. But he really smartly puts us into the path of Hurst, and Grenwis does a good job of making sure that he stays as big as he can and waits as long as he can to react and forces that kick save.
Corner header away, ball knocked down by Reyes. That'll skip out of play, lead to another set piece.
Well, much like Malloy is a threat with his service, Marco Micheletto for New Mexico, he has the ability to provide dynamic set piece plays in this one as he goes to the far side, the right-footed out-swinging corner. He may try to opt to go like a flat service to be able to try to get this to curve from outside in. He's capable, one of the best striking midfielders.
Corner, bounces down, Harris saved off the line. Dayon Harris coming into the game, immediate impact, he's on it again. Pinged around, Reyes runs through, Harris tried to get a piece and launched. And the keeper here needs to make something of that. Shake sends it upfield. The offside flag is raised.
How smart is this from Aaron Malloy? This is gonna find its way to the back post. Malloy just thinks, I'm gonna get over just in case, as Grenwis beat, but Malloy is so smart. This is the soccer IQ. Harris does ever so well to catch that on the short hop, goes to the inside of his foot so he gets the accuracy he's after, and he gets it absolutely right. It's just Aaron Malloy thought, what's the worst case scenario in this situation? And if it happens, how can I affect the play? That was worst case scenario for the Battery. Good thing is, Malloy affected it positively for him.
Scooped up by Dos Santos, little combination, sees Rodriguez. Tap down the line, overlapping to the end line, deflected. Rodriguez, he's got a little space. Again, a bit of slippage. Picked up by Segbers, he's on the move. He's out of space. And it's time for us to tell you, saw it a little bit at halftime. The Battery have a brand new look on and off the field this year, thanks to Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including the custom 2024 kits, by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com. These kits are solid. However, just saying that the other kits that are involved take my money.
Yeah, the black and yellow one are spectacular.
A little red accent to it. I've liked that addition over the years.
All I'm saying, the director of marketing communications for the Battery, Grayson Frizzell, if you're listening, Mike Watts, big fan of the jerseys.
This sits up Gutierrez. Let's go navigating through.
Host of USL All Access, Mike Watts. That is something that you can hear on Sirius XM, and then you can watch on YouTube later. This visual medium, you have worn other jerseys. I'm just saying, we're connecting dots here. That's all I'm doing.
I think if you're smart, you'd send it to Hercules Gomez first. I think they've got better viewership on Football Americas.
Don't undersell yourself. USL All Access is must listen to radio and watch on YouTube later on with you and Devin Kerr. Let's do a wonderful job with that.
Segbers trying to work inside. Markanek lifting to the backside. Gutierrez, it's over the line. You know, one of the real exciting things is seeing a young player. Fidel Barajas last year for Charleston was certainly that guy. Charleston have 3 academy players rostered tonight. Regrettably for New Mexico, We've been robbed by injury of the ability to see more from Christian Nava. Hopefully see him sooner than later. These are two clubs that are starting to take major steps in developing young players. If you look at what Eric Quill has done over the course of his time at North Texas, and then making the move to New Mexico, and with the help of the Somos Unidos Foundation, bringing in talent of all ages and giving them a much clearer path to play. Charleston going out and adequately making adjustments to bring in players and develop them at the professional level. That does lead to an awkward rule change. It was introduced, I think, for the right reasons, and ultimately I'll have the right benefit. The home team now has the right to 2 under-17 players in your game day roster on a given day when you play at home. The road team doesn't get that benefit. It doesn't count against the 18. So you're able to suit up 20 players in theory, and all of a sudden you're an academy kid. Maybe you weren't going to be able to get into the group, but like we've seen in Mexico in terms of how they handle minutes for players under the age of 21, giving an added benefit to teams to utilize youth in some capacity, either off the bench or just being on the bench, should help give the USL a leg up.
I absolutely love this rule. It rewards teams for pouring into their academy, developing players, and then you get rewarded by being able to have them on your bench in a home game.
Arcanic, oh, that drops Rodriguez. And away here by Bailey. Hop skipping, there's Dos Santos, works it inside, shot, lays it in! Oh, that is a stunner from Arturo Rodriguez! Take a bow, what a moment from Arturo! And he's done it against the manager that helped start his run in North Texas. 2-0 Charleston.
Well, he had an opportunity just before that was thwarted, but it's the pressure from the battery. And who else but Aaron Malloy being involved. A little bit of chaos in and around, but Dos Santos plays it, and because he moves away, it creates this space, and the decision is made for Rodriguez. Opens up his hips, curls it up and over. You dream about striking a ball with that much pace, that much precision, and that much swirl to the far post. Perfect execution, perfect finish from Arturo Rodriguez.
That dazzling play brought to you by Diamonds Direct. And Arturo Rodriguez in the 56th has Charleston 2 goals ahead. The changes are coming for New Mexico. That's the end of the night for Reyes. And we saw Nicky Hernandez strolling around earlier. Well, he's going to go now. The 8 in yellow for New Mexico. Three subs, 2 windows remaining for New Mexico. Can they nick one here sooner than later? Just 1 shot on target in this game. And once you get a lead in a game like this, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but the ball was only in play out of the 48 minutes for about 23 of them in the first half. Talk about making a game feel really short when you commit as many fouls as have been committed in this game.
Yeah, that's such a telling stat to be able to just really see how much stop-start there was to that first half. It's been better in the second half, but now 2 goals to the good for the home side.
Ball line into Hurst, leading. He could have planted that and had his own go at it. That was beautiful football from New Mexico, that 4 or 5 pass sequence. Rodriguez Does he have an encore? Markanek. Markanek! Header wide from Myers. Must be wondering if he's ever going to get off the schneid.
Feels as though Myers didn't think this was going to get over the defender and fall right into his lap. He runs right in between the two center backs, which is great. That's exactly what you should be doing. Another turnover quickly.
Chipped outside by Gutierrez. Karam's down, sent away by New Mexico. Hurst is by his lonesome, trying to make trouble for Palma, and he did. Smith sizes him up. Hurst still alone, and now Malloy has it for the Battery. It's a foul. It has been a much, I don't mean cleaner in that the first half was dirty, but a cleaner second half thus far through 14 minutes. First inspiring tackle of the half.
We love a good inspiring tackle, don't we?
Oh, the best. I've never had my ankle cleated, so I wouldn't know.
As you can imagine, it's not fun.
Overrated experience.
Yeah.
Is that coming to Disney's California Adventure?
I think you're doing something right in life if you can avoid those.
Pressure from Zico Bailey. Free kick coming. Opening night here in Charleston. You can see the watermark on your screen. So we welcome you to the 2024 USL kickoff presented by Terminix. Throughout the month of March, USL kicking off across the country, League One and Championship. See all the action on ESPN and CBS Sports platforms. So live on your TV tonight in Charleston, South Carolina. Whipped forward by Micheletto, and the header comes to Grinwis on the ground. That was Maples, who's starting to make a thing of this, getting upfield and creating real chances.
I did it last week against Rhode Island. That was of the tap-in variety, though, after Tim had won the header up and over, and he was just there to apply the finish. But Maple seems to be somebody that has a good sense of when to time his run into the box and affect the play positively going forward.
Hernandez. Dallas declined his option at the end of 2022 and then signed on in July in New Mexico. Spinning free, Kaza pulled away from Micheletto in the nick of time. He was about to get on that new ride I heard about.
What's the name of that again?
I don't know, but it's this is on an ESPN platform tonight, right? It's at Universal.
You are a company man through and through, pal.
There is something to be said about the idea of Goofy coming through with a two-footed tackle, studs exposed, that hasn't been totally navigated yet. Ball through, still ricocheting around, appeal for a handball, and now they've given it. It is outside the area, and it's a free kick.
And this just is unfortunate to catch the trailing arm of Schwartz. He knows nothing about it. The collision happens, and it's meant to be a clearance, but it does affect the clearance. And, well, now how can Aaron Malloy affect this game 19 yards out? This is a golden opportunity. And Malloy, he's listening to the arguments from his teammates. I don't know if he's going to pay attention to him, but this is his range. Could be his moment.
Aaron Malloy, they call him a throwback. This kid earned everything in his career. MVP finalist in his home debut. Rodriguez scored a stunner already. Is this Malloy's moment, however? Stares down, shakes. Malloy! Oh, what a debut goal on home ground for Aaron Malloy! Against a fellow Nittany Lion, a magnificent strike. Charleston rolling it home.
It's a Malloy masterclass from 19 yards out. The way he approaches it, the way he steadies himself, it was almost a foregone conclusion after the ball struck the arm of Schwartz from 19 yards out. Malloy goes up and over into the back of the net. You spend hours on the training ground perfecting your craft so you can enjoy all the plaudits in the corner with your friends after going top corner with an exquisite free kick. 3-0 to the hosts.
And Eric Quill can only contemplate as the celebration continues from the Charleston faithful. Get ready to see something special. Charleston, you went out and got the guy that from the moment Ben Pierman arrived was hoping he'd be able to get him again. Gutierrez, night complete, 3 goals ahead. Aaron Malloy revolutionized Memphis 901 FC. They were a doormat until Ben Pierman and Aaron Malloy, along with a number of players, Graham Smith, Derek Dodson, Laurent Kissy, you can go right down the list, but Malloy was the string puller to that entire puppet show. And now he resides in Charleston. New Mexico looking for a lifeline back into this match, or it's going to be a difficult flight home. Ball across, grabbed by Grinwis. Chris Allen, Jake LaCava coming into the game. Ikaza and Gutierrez are done. For Jake LaCava, his home debut for the Charleston Battery. Make no mistake, they wanted him last year. They really wanted him, but ultimately ended up at Tampa Bay. What a whirlwind year it was for Jake LaCava. Selected in the expansion draft by St. Louis, flipped to Miami for 150 G's of Garber bucks, then loaned in June to Tampa Bay. There were at least 3 teams that were seriously attempting to acquire him, landed with the Rowdies, and ultimately ends up in Charleston this year. Advantage played. The turf monster would have gotten the foul. Ball forward, Dos Santos, an assist already, lined it up for MD Myers. However, that soars over his head. That's one way to clear it.
There's Malloy again being a nuisance, doing everything to be able to win the ball back. Never resting on the laurels of the fact he's just scored a world-class free kick. He's back to doing the dirty work in the middle of the park and then finding space to be able to try to get back on it.
And the toughest part for Malloy, 20 yards out is actually not ideal. There is a happy place. Call it what, 24 to 28 yards?
Correct.
Getting it over the wall is no simplistic feat, and he made it look simple.
That's what you mean by the 24 yards. You have time to get it up and over, but with enough power to be able to get beyond a goalkeeper. Anything closer to that, to get it up and down over the wall, you have to take some of the power off of it So for Malloy, that's even more difficult to score from that distance. And well, he made it look a lot easier than it is. I can promise you that.
This, however, is not in the Goldilocks region. This is probably a hair far, but if you want to test Grinwis from here, you better do it with some power and a lot of precision.
Hurst looks like he wants to strike this straight on. Micheletto wants to try to put some curl on this. Based on where Grinwis is positioned, I think this would be better served for Hurst from here.
Hurst, the wall pays the steep price. Has left short by Seymour. Which player is going to be the first to recreate the Homer Simpson meme and go fade into the bushes as a goal celebration? I've been thinking about this ever since last year's final.
Tell you what, they better be sure that you're on the broadcast call so you can pick that up.
Fully explain that?
100% co-sign on the joke.
That's Palma down on his haunches, and the athletic training staff will come take a look. New Mexico, it does not get easier. They go to Phoenix, the reigning champ, on the 30th. And then the following week, they'll be back home at the Lab to see El Paso. This is a Charleston team that will go to Miami, which is never a simplistic feat. Go to Rhode Island, and then just 3 days later, welcome Louisville for a nationally televised game on CBS Sports Network. You know, we've spoken with a handful of coaches just this week, but we've been hearing it for the last year and a half. There ain't a gimme anymore. You aren't going to go, wow, all right, these 3 games are tough, but hey, at least we're going to go see New York Red Bulls too.
Gone are those days in this league.
It's a little more complex. All of a sudden, 3-4 games can totally taint your season. Harris. Dan Harris, the first 10 minutes was a terror coming into this game, and Charleston, for whatever reason, has found a way to neuter that impact a bit. Astorga.
The attack for New Mexico is just felt impotent in the second half. Just not much to it, really.
Just that one really big chance, and then Charleston tacking on the additional goals. So you see Avion Flanagan. You also see Daniel Bruce, his 115th game in the league. The 27-year-old from England who was signed off trial. Hurst, not without a chance or two, but really that was it. Zico Bailey comes off as well and is walking a little lighter after picking up that yellow card. A pair back-to-back between him and Emilio Icaza. Neither ultimately make the 90, but at least they leave of their own volition. Shakes right up the gut.
Uh-oh.
Shakes. Oh, net's empty. Chipping! Oh, wow! Saved away from the line. Marcanic just went for glory. And Will Seymour saw everything he needed to get that over the bar.
Wow. Shakes gets himself in trouble. And this is inches away from being perfect, except Seymour tips it up and over. To be fair, Talon Maples was there as well. Marcanic inches away from picking up his second of the evening. Some really alert defending in the worst case scenario for New Mexico. It's all coming undone for them.
Not their night here on the East Coast. Ball lashed in. Who got that last? Flanagan? No. It was last touched by Charleston. 2 changes coming the other way. So that's Juan David Torres and Jackson Conway. End of the night for MD Myers. He got everything but a goal this evening. Life can be unfair in that way. Arturo Rodriguez did get a goal, and what a goal it was. Conway makes his home debut. This is a dude who scored a game winner against Club America in the CONCACAF Champions League in 2019 with Atlanta United. And treks to South Carolina to continue his career. So Allen, LaCava, Conway, and Torres been the changes for Charleston. New Mexico trying to pull one back. Flanagan feigns, lost his footing, flicked it on somehow. Aim to the backside, ball ricochets away. Bruce was waiting, and Hernandez pretty well put that on a platter. Bruce kept it for New Mexico. And there's Dos Santos. Action continues throughout the night in the championship, including a game on Golazo Network later this evening. Orange County take on Miami. If you thought the commentary in this game wasn't as strong as you'd hope, I'd stay on ESPN Plus for the other games tonight. Angling toward the end line, this will ricochet out off of Dos Santos and lead to a corner. 15 minutes to play.
For New Mexico, if they want to get anything from this match, it's moments like these where they're going to need to get some good service from Micheletto, which is the standard, which you'd expect. And the likes of Seymour and Maples will be 2 of the obvious targets.
Angling back, up and away. Still work to be done off the Palma clearance. Smash toward Flanagan. Hangs it into the corner. That gets out. This is the first time the Battery have scored 3 in a game in the league since July 23rd. That was against Pittsburgh. And Aaron Malloy's first goal since June against Miami.
You could show me this replay 100 times, and each time I would be just as impressed. Tremendous finish.
Charleston knows they've got a captive crowd. They're not done yet. Conway putting it in the width. LaCava in front. Away from Marcanic.
Again from Seymour. Very good defending. Such a smart defender.
I think we know little about Torres, all told. He was a preseason trialist. But LaCava, former Young Player of the Year finalist, right? Chris Allen played nearly every minute last season. Jackson Conway has scored in this league consistently. That's the bench tonight. End line again. That'll soar, but never get over the line, past the crossbar. Whistle's gone. This is a handball against Marcanic.
When Marcanic got knocked down from behind, he fell on the ball and grabbed it to try to force the referee into a decision to try to win the free kick. Instead, he concedes the free kick. That's an incredible touch.
Harry Swartz out there. Last year, everyone was remarking, wow, Charleston, what a great start. And then it was, wow, what a great story. Eventually, they became a great champion by the time it was done, winning the Eastern Conference. There was so much intentionality to the way they built this for this year. It was a much bigger rebuild job than is typical for a second-year administration, in that usually you've got control over player contracts in the championship for 2 years being a pretty common refrain. Well, plenty of phone calls came in over this offseason. Made it far more difficult. There's room here for New Mexico. Ball in front, Bruce. Keeper retreats, Astorga. Nicky Hernandez got Markanek in the air and tried to get him out of his cleats. Hernandez continued to pursue, he lost it. Now Allen, forward to Torres. That'll do. Allen, pillowy touch, Conway. He's coming back for the ball and he may well get it. He bangs this out for a throw. Segbers. Montevid Torres. Allen. Epic idea. Cava leaves it back. Dos Santos. Plucked by Shakes. I'm sure some MLS keeper will make his debut against Messi and see the free kick goal. Probably has already happened for all I know. But Malloy blessing Shakes right off the bat in his championship debut is probably the closest like-to-like scenario. Arguably the best free kick taker in the entire league, staring you down. That's the closest I can get to getting Aaron Malloy and Messi in the same sentence.
No, you did well. You would, when Shakes tells the story to his grandkids about his first start, probably just leave out the score line.
Yeah.
Say, I started at beautiful Patriots point and then end the story there.
At this stage, it's starting to turn that direction. Markanek able to bring this down. Markanek. Couldn't find the runner. Allen. LaCava. LaCava dancing. Malloy. An effervescent threat. Segbers.
Little two-man game. Well done from Flanagan. It's just been the most frustrating of road trips for New Mexico tonight. They haven't really been able to get any offensive attacks and sustained offensive actions that have any real substance to them. Eric will certainly be frustrated with the overall performance, but I think this was more about a night where Charleston were the better team and you weren't wasteful of your opportunities and let a team that was, you know, lesser than you on the night beat you. No, Charleston have been the better team tonight and are, as we stand, fully deserving of the 3 points. New Mexico just never really were able to get anything, and that pass right there might be the microcosm of the night if we had to surmise things going on. Just even connecting passes aren't coming off for New Mexico. It's just one of those nights where I'm not even sure how deep into the tape you dive, or if you just say, right, we played Charleston, it was a terrible performance, we all know that, let's move on to the next match that you have at the weekend, because this is just a forgettable night on a lot of fronts.
And Charleston's had a moment or two like that over the last 2 years where it's burned the tape territory. Still ultimately got to the cusp of where every team hopes to be. Certainly where 12 teams hope they'll land this year, Charleston included, hoisting the Eastern Conference title trophy.
get to go back to the lab and welcome in El Paso.
The ball in. Markanek shakes his out. Markanek settles. He's looking for the exclamation point, and this was really his last go at it. And I think he just figured that out. Markanek's night concludes. Nearly had his brace, but he did score in the first half to set the tone.
Markanek is setting it up, wait for that moment for the overcommit. Even the slip would have given him more time than he ever imagined. And what's worse, as soon as he was done with that effort and looked back, he saw his number go up on the board to end his evening. But a really good performance from Nick Markanek. He put himself about constantly throughout the evening. He was a threat at most points and any attacking action that he had. So while he doesn't get a goal, he can certainly be pleased with his 84 minutes tonight.
So Markanek scores in back-to-back games. The 35th at Oakland and even earlier tonight. Robbie Crawford will come in to see this out. And that the concluding sub of the evening. So we won't see the debut of Matthew Dean or Braden Cobb. Charlie Dennis on the bench was looking for his league debut. That won't happen either. And the final change coming for New Mexico. Seymour prevented Markanek potentially adding another. A chip knotted over the bar, off the line. And Anthony Herbert comes in. The former St. John's Red Storm player went over to Finland, featured in the Europa Conference League. And about a year and a half ago, debuted the Brooklyn native for Trinidad and Tobago at the senior level. Bruce goes down.
Seymour will hand the armband over to Sergio Rivas, and Rivas actually didn't even have time to put it on. He was defending and helping win the ball back with the captain's armband in his hand. Now New Mexico win a free kick, and this is inviting territory for Micheletto. Try to curl this in. Look for him to try to keep this on frame. Get that to bounce if you can, right in front of Grenwis. See if you can really challenge Grenwis's vision with players running across the face of him.
Curl Grenwis goes catapulting into the equation. Into the penalty area once more. Ball knocked down by Malloy. He found it. Malloy will suck all the marrow out of the bone tonight. He, of course, scores that incredible free kick goal. But enjoying his first game in Charleston as a member of the home team. And a seeking ball. Grenwis can say the same. And he's trying to keep a clean sheet while he's at it. It's only the fourth all-time meeting between the teams. Mexico won in 2022 here. Charleston won at New Mexico back in September. Ultimately, this would tie the all-time series between the two. I was asking Ben Pierman, how do you try and describe the misconception, if there is one in your mind, around this team? And he talked a bit about sort of internal expectation of the group, and certainly the progression they had last year. It's going to be a progression like that this year. You aren't going to just come back in March and recreate where you were in October. But it feels like when a team is great at the situational stuff, it can be easy to say that a team is brutish. Right, that it's a case of we'll knock you down and we won't help you up, and it almost overshadows the football itself. And if you look at the pieces they brought in this year, Smith, Malloy, so on, LaCava, yeah, you've got a physical touch, but you'll be great in situations. And your football was impressive in large quantities last year while they were first getting on the ground. Their football should only be better this year as Malloy taps it over. Now Allen spots an opening down the left-hand side to try and track down a fourth.
That entire sequence is a perfect capitulation of what you just talked about there. They win it back, and some people look at it and go, oh, wow, that's like gritty defending. Oh, I mean, it was a lot of effort, but then they were smart to break through in a clever little flick over a defending leg from New Mexico United, and then they break pressure, and now they're able to stretch the field out, put 20-some-odd passes together here, and kill off the rest of the clock. I think that was perfect timing to illustrate your point and the point of the question that you asked Ben Pearman and sort of the answer that reflected from that.
I think if you're Ben Pearman, you're winning. So last year, if people want to say you're gritty, fine. But I think one thing we've started to find is that it's a gross mischaracterization of that being all that this Charleston group is, to the point where it's probably worth combating, although Ben didn't take the bait. Torres off the post, follow, Conway scores! Another home debut goal. Jackson Conway knocks it home. And the Battery are throwing a bash at Patriots Point.
Goals galore for the Battery, and it's just that kind of night. Juan David Torres with a lethal strike from distance. It's supposed to could go anywhere, and unfortunately for Eric Quill and his side, just the way the night has gone, it falls right into the path of Conway. No pressure on David Torres. It's a good strike in the end, and there's still a lot of work to do for Jackson Conway. He's got to get it right because Shakes hops up quickly, throws himself across, but Conway just opens his hips. It's such a classy finish in the end. Doesn't need to put any additional power onto it, but has to get the accuracy right. And the fans who showed up for the first time this year are treated to a 4-goal delight.
Brilliant play by the Battery. Goal scored in the 90th minute, presented by Diamonds Direct. What a night for Charleston. And the fans here are starting to head to the parking lot. The job's done. You know, I think through finals that I've experienced around this league, this will be my 10th this coming year. And the experience, well, the experience in Charleston was just extraordinary. It just a crisp, beautiful night, and the atmosphere in the venue was so pulsating. Obviously, so much air out of the balloon when ultimately that penalty hits off the post. And Phoenix celebrate the title, prodded onto the post by Rocco Rios Novo, but doesn't take a single inch off what was accomplished by this group last year and what lies in store. What lies in store here? Shakes. Juan David Torres doesn't want to be left out. One more minute of stoppage time, which is brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine.
To your point, getting to celebrate what, your 10th final at Charleston last year? I'll put Charleston,
10th
Mount
is
Pleasant.
coming this year. Who knows?
There
It might be in Charleston again at this rate.
If they perform like this, wouldn't be shocked to see it.
Corner. Oh, that's swinging all the way to Shakes.
Malloy's for sure going for a goal there.
Yes.
At 4-0 in the 93rd minute, Malloy knows exactly what he's doing. If there's ever a time to try it, right then would have been the moment.
Seeking the Olympico here.
Yeah, that was not meant for anybody else other than himself. To the back of the net. To his credit, he almost did it. Well done from Shakes to being alert for it.
It's a great article in The Athletic that it was Messi's white whale. The one thing he hadn't accomplished was an Olympico, which shocked me, by the way. Another Malloy reference. Anywho. Swinging in, ball deflects away. There's full time, and New Mexico came here for nothing. Charleston 4, New Mexico nothing, and the Eastern Conference champion opens with a thrilling win on home ground. What a performance. The man of the match is Nick Markanek. Scores the opener, very easily could have added more. He'll settle for the game winner tonight and goals in back-to-back games.
Tremendous performance from Markanek. He was always a threat, always a problem. That man as well, Aaron Malloy. Those two players, it could have been either one, but tonight, the man of the match goes to Nick Markanek. Fantastic performance, got his reward in the 18th minute.
And this Charleston side clearly impressed, but clearly not finished yet. A 4-0 home beginning. We'll wrap this one up on the other side of the break.
You've given us a foundation to be proud of. We build on this now. This is it now, gents. This is us from now on.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Yeah, we running the game. We're coming in strong, and you will not forget it. We're here to take you on, and we can fight and we defend it. We never looking back, we focused on the road. We didn't come to play, and now we never let it go. Yeah, we want to take it higher.
Follow up in! Louisville level in the 70th. He puts it in. Indy 11 leads on the road.
Yeah, we want to take it higher.
Welcome back to Charleston. Keep on dancing. That's the kind of night they're having in Charleston. Our Pulse game brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. The beer or two will go a long way in that group, and the celebration from Rodriguez and Markanek continues as New Mexico fall here on the road. All right, let's step into what was a thrilling contest here. Pulse game highlights are brought to you by Michelob Ultra. We start 17th minute, a little flick on from Myers.
Well, Maples is out of position, so Seymour has to tuck over to try to cover. That leaves Markanek open. Good strike on top of the ball, so it comes off of the turf, skips past Shakes. 17 minutes into the home opener, it's a bright start, and well, it just continues on from there because the pressure, which had caused so many problems all evening long, leads to the second one. This one is a lovely finish from Rodriguez. Curls this brilliantly up and over to the far post. That makes it 2-0 from there. Battery did not take their foot off of the gas. They kept going. 64th minute, here's the handball. Unfortunate for Swartz, and up steps Aaron Malloy. My goodness. Soccer's easy. Just do that every time you have a free kick. Kick it to the top corner. 3-0, it was elementary from there. And finally, in the 90th minute, Juan David Torres off the bench, off the post. Jackson Conway off the bench, onto the score sheet to cap off a 4-0 win for the Charleston Battery.
Elementary, my dear Watson. 4-0, and Charleston are rolling. Here's a look at your full-time match stats. 4-0, but Only 2 shots on target for New Mexico, and they didn't get their first until the 50th minute.
And it was a lackluster performance. It was a very physical match in the first half. Second half, calm down. The over-under was set at 45.5 fouls. We hit the under, Mike, only 40.
Yeah, in the 75 minutes, the game hang in the balance. Anywho, so Charleston walks into the night a 4-0 winner, New Mexico's first defeat of the year. After conceding just 1 goal in the first 2 games, it's a 3-goal second half that proves their undoing. New Mexico headed to Phoenix next. Charleston back here in 2 weeks' time. For Jamie, Mike, thanks for watching, and so long for now.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.